Well, I'm here. Where's everybody? I actually made it on time for a change. Hello, hello. I'm still stumbling around trying to figure out how to do this. Hello, 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 hello. This is my live stream dance. Okay, we're gonna get. I wish you guys. I wish there was some way I could hear you guys because this thing, and I already have to. I'm not gonna be my usual organized self because I have all my notes, stuff I was reading about this, and usually I read everything, put my thoughts together, and then just start talking. But I just did not have time, and in spite of the fact that this was booked a week, I think that doing all those videos every day, kind of used up my time. But we're gonna do the best we can. So what we're going to talk about today is male violence towards women and how that's being promoted by what's called the incels. Now, here on YouTube, there's a very popular group called I can do call-ins. I didn't know that. I don't know what I'm doing. That would be great. I wonder how I do it. Do you know how to do it? How do you get, I don't know how to get a number. How do people call me? I'm so confused. Oh, through Google Hangouts. Oh, I don't know how I had it set up. I just mashed a button and said go live. So here we are. Uh, but what I was saying is, well, I'll worry about that later because I don't want to burn up all my time trying to figure out how to activate phone calls. Um, what is so disturbing about this guy is that, I mean, these guys rather, not just one, is that this is a pattern. And you know what? We see a lot of this on YouTube. All those TFL, True Force Loneliness, and those enraged MGTOW guys, even though they say the premise of their organization is that MGTOW means men going their own way, away from women. Yet, I mean, hundreds of them over the past, I'd say 6 months, have come onto my page, onto the videos that I've done about MGTOW and TFL, and they have bitched and moaned and name called women and called all kind of names and threatened violence. I mean, some really sick stuff that I delete and report them to YouTube for doing it. And so, that's the mentality that we're dealing with. And I think what worries me so much is that so many women don't really really understand what we're up against as a group. And they say stuff like, well, you shouldn't be talking about men like that. You're just a man hater. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not getting I'm not worrying about uh what men feel and what men think and what men want. See, that's what that mentality that y'all have is what has helped kind of reinforce this belief that they have that they're entitled to women because they want you. They're entitled to your bodies. They're entitled to your time. They're entitled to your attention, your money, your resources, everything else because they want it. And unfortunately, like I always say, a lot of this is reinforced with religion. And I don't want, to be down in anybody's religion, but if you hear messages like that, you need to be very careful about what you absorb. So let's talk about, thank you, Sparkling Tiffany. Oh, look at how that's like really big and stuff. That's pretty amazing. Um, this is all still new to me, so I'm sorry I'm so easily distracted. What I wanted to talk about is this involuntary celibacy, though. And all over. They closed, and I heard about it though on Facebook, that Reddit, there were some communities there where they were just saying the most hateful things about women and threatening violence and all kind of stuff. And Reddit shut it down. They're like, you can't be on our channel with all of this because it violates their community service standards. So what the guys did was go to some other board thing that has more loose standards, and they continued their hate messages over there. So let's talk about some of these. I wrote down some statistics. Well, I mean, just about four, let's see, one, two, three, four guys that we've heard about in the news recently, within the last so many years. So these names will be familiar to you. Remember George Sodani? He is the one who went into a gym where women were exercising and he turned off the lights and shot all the women in the exercise class. He was shooting at them. He killed 3 women and he injured 9. Okay, I don't know what this is. Man, my writing is bad. I think this says Allen, somebody, I don't know, I've scribbled this down, killed 10 people and injured 14. Elliot Rogers, the little kid who shot the girls up because he was mad because he couldn't get a date. Nobody wanted him. Let me tell you what, doing my research, though, I found, okay, they talked about this shooting at Santa Barbara. He was shooting the sorority girls and all of that. But, honey, let me tell you, I did some research on that fool. Not only did he have, like, this manifesto online and stuff, he had been clowning women and couples for 2 or 3 years prior to him actually going on campus and shooting. His parents were just grossly negligent in taking care of their son's mental health. There were all kind of signs that this boy was an idiot and a ticking time bomb just waiting to happen. But they didn't do anything until it was too late. So 2012, I think it was, he went to some party on a campus, right? And he was mad because he went to the party and nobody talked to him. I mean, it's like if you look at him, he looked like a nut. So, I mean, people were probably like, get that weird energy. They're like, no, I'm cool. And so none of the kids talked to him. So he went up on him on some ledge or something, and they said it was like a 10-foot drop to the ground. And then some other kids came up on the ledge with him, and they still didn't talk to him. So he got mad. So he grabs one dude, and he tried to throw the dude off the ledge. All them kids jumped up and beat his ass and flung his ass off the thing. Then went downstairs and was pummeling on him some more, kicking him and stuff. They took his $300 sunglasses, and they took this gold chain or something he had. They beat his ass. And then when he fell off the thing, he broke his ankle. So that took a long time for him to heal, right? So then, so many months later, he goes to some park. And there's people, couples and stuff out there. He goes to the store, Kmart, whatever, buys a super soaker, fills it with orange juice, and goes and shoots all the people. I'm like, see, he knew who to do that with. So you do that shit to some white people. Go to a black park and do that and see if you live. Them brothers will stomp you into next week. And so then he did his third thing he did. He was at some coffee shop and he sees a guy and a girl, Starbucks or whatever, and they're in the line kissing. He follows them out of the store to their car and throws his hot coffee on them. Again, I'm like, okay, see, white people, the black person would have beat his ass. There would be no way he would have made it to his car. So I'm like, okay, see, so he had been doing all of these things, and writing about it publicly and posting it. So he had this crazy mentality. And if any woman who could get a sense of that is not going to want to fuck with you. Okay. So that was Elliot Rogers. So then he went on to the campus and killed 3 girls, injured 9 other. 6, he killed 6 and then injured 14. I'm sorry. So Donnie's the one who killed 3 and injured 9. Then this guy named Christopher Harper something killed 9 people, 9 women, and injured unknown amount. I couldn't figure that out for all the articles I was reading. He was at some college in Oregon, 26 years old. Elliot Rogers was 24 years old. George Sodani was 48 years old. And then some guy named Mark Lepine, 25 years old, back in 1989, killed 14 women, injured 10 more, and killed 4 men as well. Oh, I know what this first one is. This is the dude who just ran over all the people up in Canada. So he killed 10 and injured 14. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuts that were targeting women because they didn't get what they want from women. Okay. Now, some of the articles I was reading, they pointed to the possibility that these guys were high functioning Asperger's. Now, I did a whole video on them Asperger's people, and they came out, well, we're not violent. We're not, this and that. And it's like, nobody's going to be really worried about you as an individual. They're going to look at how you conduct yourself, how you can't talk to nobody. You struggle being social. Okay, that's just like a ticking time bomb. You don't know how to talk to people, and you don't know how to get along with other people. And everybody's saying it's your fault. I'm not blaming you for it. What I'm saying is that women, yes, ass burgers. No, it's ass. But I'm not blaming you for it. You can't work, you can't control about whether you get something like that. All I'm saying is in the context of my work on this channel and the work I've been doing for almost 30 years, I don't care. My work is to alert women to the problems that certain men will bring into their lives by their behavior. So I don't care if it's a disease that you got at birth. I don't care if you was dropped on your head. I don't care if you was in a car accident and it fucked up your brain. I don't care. It's irrelevant to me how it happened or what you're dealing with. It's what you're going to bring into a woman's life, and that's bullshit. And that's what I'm talking about. So, people are like, well, you shouldn't be saying that about me. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Just it's irrelevant to me. What I care about is that these guys are violent and they want to go around because they're not getting no trim, because women won't give them the time of day, because nobody wants to go on a date with them. Nobody wants to talk to them. They have this creepy vibe and they don't understand. It's like, well, I dress nice. I look nice. I do this and that. I'm trying to see, how do I share my screen on this thing? Is that possible? Because hmm, I have some pictures that would like to show you guys, but I don't know how to do it. Maybe I can only do that on um, my other software that I usually use when I do these live things. But this, like, this psychologist was saying, he wrote an article for Psychology Today. He says, rejection can also damage our psychological well-being beyond just going through the initial pain. And in the long run, it can destroy our self-esteem. Okay, see, this buck passing shit right here, nobody destroys your self-esteem. You do that to yourself. That's why the word self is in there. Self-esteem. You give it to yourself. So if you sit there and you think you're looking outward, right? So you're thinking, wow, nobody wants to date me. Nobody wants to talk to me. That means there's something wrong with me. And you're internalizing all this anger about the fact that you think these other people think there's something wrong with you, which of course that might be true. I don't know. But you can't condemn yourself because of it. And if you think that they don't like you because of you dress funny, okay, well, then dress different. If you think they can't do it, deal with you because your teeth, your grill is all fucked up, take your ass to the dentist. You know what I mean? I mean, every problem that you think that people are having with you, there's a fix for that. If you don't know how to be social and stuff, then get some practice, go in a class. I mean, go to Toastmasters or something. They teach you how to talk to people, and it's well, I mean, they have like a little meeting fee or something. But I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like you have to sign up for a class and pay this major tuition or anything. And they teach you how to talk to people. So I'm like, oh, these dudes are a trip. I just don't understand it. And so then he says, the psychologist I just quoted, most romantic rejections are a matter of poor fit and a lack of chemistry. Incompatible lifestyles, wanting different things at different times, or some other such issue of mutual dynamics. Blaming ourselves and attacking our self-worth only deepens the emotional pain we feel and makes it harder for us to recover emotionally. And that's true. You don't have to take it so personally and look at it like it's something wrong with you because that person doesn't want to be with you. Look how many millions of people there are on this planet. Why are you stuck on these two or three? And they always want to go for the best looking women. Did you notice that? Funny, short looking, little short, funny looking, awkward dudes. And they want to get like this dime piece and be mad that the dime piece won't give them the time of day. And I've said this before. If you a three, then motherfucker go for some threes or a two. You might get it. You a five, go for a 4 or 5. Stop overreaching, you know? Yeah, people want a 10. I know they ain't gonna hold on to a 10. She going to the alpha dudes. She's not gonna be with you. I hate to hurt your feet, break it to you. Yes, exactly. That's what I am carrying. Exactly. So what was so interesting about Sodani, that's the guy who killed the women in the gym. He was like, he had this blog, right? So you could go, they had clips of it from all over the internet. I mean, this thing, I was reading so much stuff, is the miracle that I even remember my name. But he says he was very explicit in his blog about his shame and his humiliation because women didn't want him, and how he turned that into hatred of women. Because see, this is the other thing. These guys, they never want to look at what's wrong with them, right? Instead, they want to turn it into where they're a victim. They're a victim of women. Women, do this to them. They're a victim of feminism because feminism teaches women that men aren't important and we are important and they need to give us what we have. That's the mentality. So then he says, listen to this shit here. This is a quote from his blog. It seems many teenage girls have sex frequently. Okay, first of all, your ass is 48. Why are you thinking about what teenagers do? Okay, well, that's my aside. One 16-year-old does it usually 3 times a day with her boyfriend. Like she don't have nothing else to do. She got to go to school. She got work. She got homework and chores at home, but she has time to be screwing for three times a day. So after a month of that, this little blank, and you know what he called her, has had more sex than me in my life, and I am 48. That's one more reason to do away with them. I mean, but see what you ladies, I mean, these are extreme examples, but we see this every day on YouTube, every day on social media. These guys are venting how much they hate you because you don't give them what they want, which is you, your body, your time, your attention, all your focus. They ain't done shit to deserve it though. They don't have nothing about them that turns you on, is exciting or even interesting. But here they are mad because they want something and you denying it from them, and they feel fucking entitled to have it because they're men. That's the only reason. And you notice also most of these dudes that's doing all the shooting, they are white. People are like, well, you shouldn't bring up race. Don't have to. You go look at the pictures yourself. I collected them. I wish I knew how to show them, but I don't. So we just have to, go with what we got. Now um, let's talk about black women for a second. Compared to a black man, a black woman is far more likely to be killed by her spouse, an intimate acquaintance, or a family member than a stranger. More than 10 times as many black females were murdered by a male they knew than were killed by strangers in a single victim/single offender incident. This numbers refer to 2000. Of black victims who knew their offenders, 54% were wives, common law wives, ex-wives, or girlfriends of the offender. 95% of the homicides of black women where the race of the male offender was known were intra-racial. That means the murderer was black. Same race. That's what intra means versus inter. Black women were murdered at a rate of 3 times higher than white women. Okay. So even accounting for these mass murders, we still getting killed more often than them in these relationships with men who feel entitled. They have a hard time dealing with rejection. I finally finished reading them 300 surveys. So one day, one day we're going to talk about that. So let's see, what do you guys, lots of black men are joining this incel movement. Oh, yes. But even if, all of them joined, just say, I mean, when you consider that black men are only 6% of the population in this country, I mean, they're in mass numbers, they're still going to be far less than the white boys. But, it's just we see the black men more because that's the channels and the groups and the pages and things that we tend to visit, and so we interact with them more often. But them white boys been coming to my channel just wearing me out, with they stuff whining and crying about what women do and what women say, and I have to keep reminding them, you talking about white chicks, I don't have nothing to do with over here. And so I just send them on fly away, little birdie, bye-bye. Send them on their way because, I don't feel like hearing it. And it's irrelevant to what's going on, what I'll be talking about. Okay. Yeah, like this psychologist says, with cases around gender-based violence or abuse, there are stories of men who feel rejected by women in their lives, whether through a breakup, divorce, or someone not interested in sleeping with them. She adds, some young boys are socialized to have entitlement, and they are also told they should get what they want. Men are socialized, if they are aware of it or not, that women serve a purpose, and that purpose is for sexual gratification. That's their only goal. And so that's what they talk about with these MGTOW dudes that allegedly going their own way. The pump and dump. Have you heard that? Heard them use that phrase? Hold on a second. That's what they're talking about. Their whole, if you really understand the message, I mean, outwardly, it looks like, we're doing this because, we hate you and that's all you're good for. That doesn't come from the hate. That hate comes from the fact that that's all you're good for. See, they have it flipped. They feel like that's all you're good for, and you still won't give them none. And so that just fills them with rage. They just don't even know what to do with themselves. They're so angry. I'm like, these dudes, man, they ain't no good. Yeah, so my whole purpose that I wanted to do this. Yeah, that's right. Alec Minassian. He was the one that was on my list. 25 years old. See, notice how many of them in their 20s. Killing 10 people, injuring 14 others. He was charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder and 13 counts of attempted murder. And the police are unclear what his motives were, but they did state that most of the injured were women. And he made a post on Facebook that alluded to the incel movement and mass killer Elliot Rodger. And, and then after the thing where he ran over all them women up in Toronto, right? Do you know these crazy fools was online, these incel people talking about it's a revolution and, and hailing him and Elliot Rodgers is like the king of their little movement and everything. I'm like, yeah, praising him, exactly, and saying that it was the beginning of a movement, and these women better watch out because now we're going to be doing this and that and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, ladies, I know a lot of women say, I'm scared of guns. Most Black women are killed. When they're killed by someone with a gun. Okay, so you need to stop being afraid of a gun, and you need to become best friends with a gun. That's what you need to do. So few Black women have records, so y'all can go and get you a license a permit for your gun, a license for your gun, and rightfully and fairly and honestly and legally own a weapon. Then you take your ass to the target range and you learn how to shoot. Now, I'm a better shot than both of my brothers who used to go up to my parents' place up at Clear Lake, and shooting, I loved it, so I got really really good at it. And yes, every woman should have a handgun. I am a firm believer in that. If you can't get it with a handgun, then you need to get you a good stun wand or something so you can drop a motherfucker, because these dudes are crazy. There's something really icky wrong with them. And yes, honey, your best bud. Your best bud. Hi, Colleen. Amima says that the MGTOWs are terrifying. Yeah, they try to be. But see, my thing is this. You read that book called The Art of War. I love that book. I started reading that book years ago. I read it annually. When you have a situation where your enemy is showing you their hand, then you know their game plan, right? You already know what they're going to do. You know what they're going to say. You know how they think. They're not making a secret of it. So all you have to do is figure out your counter moves and get ready. So you hit them by surprise. They come with some bullshit, you shoot them. Don't ask, that's just it. Just drop them. Because, you wanting to reason with them and talk to them and be nice to them and all that stuff, your ass is going to be on the front page of the paper talking about she dead. Or we can't find her. Her body's missing. Who is JD? Oh, fuck out of here. Christians can own a gun. They don't, just because you have it, that don't mean you're going to use it. But it's good to have. Okay. So owning a gun itself is not No, thou shalt kill. Thou shalt kill motherfuckers who try to kill you. Remember that part? Eye for an eye? Yeah, that part. That's also in the Bible. All right. Let me get rid of you because I don't feel like having no religious nonsense. How I do this? Yes. Bye. He's true force loneliness. Well, now he's gone on to the happy place. Okay, let me see what else I got here. This is really, like I said, normally I would have done all of this. I wouldn't be doing this while I'm talking to you. But I just did not get my act together at all. Okay. So, all right. Oh, that's right. Did I even define what incel is? Did I? I don't remember. Incel is an acronym or abbreviation for involuntary terribly celibate. See, incel. That's where they got that from. So what they're doing because they're not having any women into any intimacies with the female sex, they're angry. And they form these little online communities where they get together like Lord of the Flies and they big each other up and spout all this nasty stuff about okay, Atlanta Angel, don't say that because there's plenty of them that do. I've interacted with them on my channel, and yeah, that's what they say. But what they actually that's the philosophy that's being promoted. But what they say on an individual basis is very much full of hate and rage and talking about what they should do to women and everything else. So don't believe that. I'm telling you, y'all don't believe that. No matter what kind of cloak they hiding under, trying to, pretend that they're little, because, if I listened to them, girl, I'm telling you, I would have believed just like you. But I got personal experience with them. I deleted that shit off of some of it. I let the more milder stuff, I let it go up there. But they are so, I mean, I should rape you. Okay. They say stuff like that. Report, report to YouTube. Some days I get tired of reporting and I just start deleting. That's how bad it is. Okay. So, don't ever think anybody online talking badly about women is not harmful. The fact that he has those thoughts in his head that you should be beaten, that you deserve to die, that you should be held down and forced to do anything, that you don't have the right to say no, that your body belongs to him in any way, shape, or form, that he has rights to you, that you deny him, and that you shouldn't have those rights. That is an asshole, and that is somebody that is very dangerous, and you need to don't be so blindly trusting of a man like that. Pay attention to what they say and pay attention to their attitudes. Exactly. They are obsessed with women. They claim that they're not, but everything they do is like this, like it's like they have a script and they say the same things over and over. And it's like they could cut and paste, and there's like so much similarities. So that to me means that they're sharing all the stuff on these groups and these blogs and stuff. And you know, so it's like these all the guys are pretty young, and so they haven't even really had a chance to get really too, you get in adolescence that awkwardness we all went through, and even our early 20s, you feel kind of insecure, you're trying to do stuff, you don't know what you're doing, and you're awkward and confused and all this stuff. And that is a normal passage of a rite of passage that we all go through. Okay. Even the kids that we see as like the super cool kids in high school and stuff, they just went through it earlier. Okay. The rest of us went through it, 17, 18, 19, early 20s, whatever. Um, don't put any names in here, Cardell. Don't be advertising people on my channel. That's a no-no. Don't do that. I don't give them folks no pub. Yeah, I deleted that. I don't do that. Nobody, and everybody else too. Don't mention any names in here or on my channel. because if it's something that somebody's selling, they need to pay me an advertising fee because that's how I keep all this going. Or, don't do that, especially if it's something nasty and negative. I don't want my female um, listeners inundated with that kind of negativity. This we're talking about because I'm trying to warn them what to look out for. But I don't want to just dump a bunch of stuff on them and have them go into all these different channels, getting their feelings hurt and their minds, bombed with stupidity. So, it's like I'm the buffer. So I'm kind of going between it editing out stuff and just pulling out the highlights. So that's why I do it this way. Okay. Just in case anybody's confused. Okay, so involuntarily celibate. And do you know the thing that was so messed up about this? A woman started this term. A woman had a blog and she called it involuntary, involuntary incel. They started 1993, and she was finding a way to describe her sense of loneliness and connect with others who felt the same. And then she like gave the blog away to somebody, and then it got turned into what it is now, which is about men who are mad that women won't have sex with them. And it's in this article, it says, unlike typical men who are irked that they're not having sex, incels don't grouse to their friends over beers and try to pick up girls at bars. They talk about overthrowing feminism and often plot violence against women, including advocating for state sanctioned rape. Wow. And like I said, I think a lot of it is, just the normal angst that we go through as adolescents, but for some reason these guys don't really work to do anything to get past it and move on to the next stage. They turn around and blame women for it, and then they become they band together and become like this community of haters of the female gender. At the same time though, crying that they want a woman. It's like, dude, do you realize what you're putting out here, and which is communicating your feelings about women, and that you think women can't pick up on that? That women don't know that that's what you feel, that they don't get that energy, and that they don't want nothing to do with you? So, I mean, even dudes who are like not that attractive, if they're funny and engaging and witty and, pleasant to be around and stuff, they'll get dates. So when you see dudes like this, you know that they don't have any of those kind of qualities. And that's why they're alone. But they don't see that. They're blaming women for it instead of themselves. And I thought, wow, that's really kind of interesting. That's kind of really different. I mean, just think, I'm gonna use myself for example. I was so shy. You wouldn't know it now, but up until I was I'd say about 15, 16, I was so shy. I didn't want to say too. I mean, I had good friends and stuff. I would socialize with them, but the me that I later developed to be right before I went to college, I wasn't that at that. I was quiet and, um, just like a little bookworm. And I was into my creative arts. I like to sew and crochet and draw and paint and build things and garden and stuff. Everything I did was about creating something from some other raw materials. So, that's my creative outlet. That's who I was. I mean, I still am that, but it's just different. And these guys, I grew to appreciate that. But because people think, hi, everybody, because people think that you're, a gentle person like that, and, little dweeby person, little, what they call a geeky person, that means that you're weak. Fuck that shit. I let them know, wait a minute. I'm from the hood. I might like all that stuff, but you get to see, don't let this little dimpled face fool you. I will cuss you the fuck out and then beat your ass. And so, that's how it was. That's how it rolled. And if I couldn't beat it, then my brothers would. Yeah. So let's talk some more about these things. This guy says incels hate women, but they also hate themselves. And many of them convince themselves they're too ugly or too short to ever be attractive. Now, I'm not going to argue with them because maybe they are. You are what you believe you are. You are what you believe you are. I know I'm short. Do you guys know I'm only five? Well, I'm like almost 5'5", 5'4 3/4. But when I walk around, people would swear my ass is 6'10", because that's how I carry myself. And it's like I know I'm the shit. You know what I mean? And even though I'm short, And there's a lot of men who think I'm funny looking because they like women who look different than me. Guess what? Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? How did I break my shyness? Um, I got into a drama class where you had to do a play. I made myself do it. I got into the drama class. I hated it. Ooh wee. But I knew even at 15 that that's what I needed to do because I needed to get over that. And I was a nervous wreck. I did my lines. Of course, I messed up. I forgot stuff because I still can't remember lines. My memory is not that good. But it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot about myself. And what you have to do is get yourself out of your comfort zone. That's the key to making any improvements with yourself in your life. Get out of your comfort zone. Yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, it's going to be different. Yes, you're going to be nervous. And yes, you might fuck it up. But guess what? You might become a winner too. You might just master it. You might be so good at it that everybody is shocked and surprised and gives you a standing ovation. You never know. But you never, if you don't try, then you'll always be in the dark wondering how great you could have been if only you had had the courage to try. And that's what I did. And so, then I learned I actually, yeah. You got to try. I mean, my analogy with dudes is because they like sports, right? Okay, you say you in the bench, right? You don't ever as long as you sitting your ass on that bench, you will never ever ever get the chance to hit a home run. So, in order for you to hit a homer, bring 3 or 4 people, I mean, bring 2 or 3 people home and become the champ of the game and all this old stuff. You gotta get up to bat. Okay. Yes, you might strike out, but then again, you might hit a homer and like I said, everybody come home. You never know. And that's what life is all about. It's a lot of different, options and things that you don't know. Not ain't none of us know psychics. I mean, I tried to read the future and I failed miserably. So the only way you can do it, you got to go through it. You got to go through it. You either got to go around it, you got to go under it, you got to go over it, you got to do something. Whatever these fences are that you put up, you have to get over it. And that's what's missing from these guys. They're cowards. Okay, they don't want to try anything new. They just want to sit in their comfort zone of loneliness and pain and whatever else is going on in their simple little minds and blame other people outside of themselves for the problems that they're having. And I will never ever ever let you guys get away with that. Even though, like when I go hard on these women. You're making stupid choices. You're doing dumb shit with these men. Why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you choosing to do that? Okay, I do that with the women. So these are dudes. So it's like, how in the world can you expect to say that you're a leader? You got a family. You're the man of the house and all this stuff when you are a fucking coward. You don't want to do anything. Oh, thank you. Wow, you guys are so nice to me. I feel special. But I'm saying I'm not just saying this. This is how I live my life, okay? Because a lot of the stuff like you still like started doing a live stream. Somebody said you should do live stream. I'm like, live stream? I don't know shit about that. What's that all about anyway? So I looked around. I knew the first one. You guys was with me. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I'm mashing buttons. I couldn't figure out how to get on the show. I set up. I did all kind of crazy stuff. But finally I got on here and everybody found me. So something happened, right? But do I know what I did? No. And but even this kind of thing, talking to people. I could never do this when I was 15 and 16. You just don't have that kind of confidence. And of course, you don't have that much knowledge. So what you gonna talk about? But now, somebody give me a topic, anything on relationships. I could talk for hours because I have developed that kind of confidence in what I can do and what I know and who I can be. So exactly, Eliza. That's in education. You guys don't know that's Eliza's my sister from another mother. That's what I call her because we thinking alike. But oh, thank you. I am CJ. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but thank you. But I really honestly believe that. And if you guys have anything that you want to try and not real sure about how to go about it or, how to put yourself on the path, that's why I put my email address up there. Just write to me and ask me. know. So that's what happens when you be old. You know a lot of stuff. Sometimes I know stuff I didn't even know I knew. But let's go back to this talk, this incel. Oh wait, I'm a good-looking dude who is shy. I started working on myself, and I have been hooking up with new chicks every month now. I got a rotation, baby. Well, Mr. Eric, we don't have to go that far, but I'm sure that since you haven't been missing out, you're going to make up for lost time. But just be careful with that. Don't miss out on somebody really great for you. Focusing on just, hoe hopping. Okay. Think about what you're doing. So let's talk about, um, hey, everybody. Wow, look at all these people. It's 140 people in here at this very moment. Okay, now, did you see? I can't. I don't wish I could show you these pictures, but anyway, they what they call Chads and Stacy's. This is what they call in the incel community. To them, a Stacy is like Barbie to Ken, and Ken is Chad. So you're looking at like the model guy, the nice body. He's tall. He got money. He's like, what women want. They call him Chad in this, kind of jokey, jealous way. And then the women who are, beautiful, usually they focus on blonde because most of these dudes, that do all these things are white. They're talking about women who are blonde and beautiful and young and, have big boobies and all this old stuff. And they call them Stacy's. So when they get ready to, yes, I did made that earlier this week, 11,000 people. Um, they get angry because they feel like Chads are the only men who will ever have sex with women. Now we all know that is so not true because you see a lot of dudes that's married that definitely ain't no Chad. But what do they have? A fucking personality. They know how to use words. They have some other, social skills that makes women want to be around them. These guys just don't get it. I mean, this guy Eric, I'm glad that he, figured it out and got himself together. And I feel like, there's a perfect example. If he could do it, so can these other dudes. They just need to get their shit together. So this guy says, he's a psychologist, and he says, um, benchmarks of an incel can include feelings of entitlement and resentment, with many feeling like sex is something owed to them. Some have even demanded that the government provide them with girlfriends and or prostitutes. Now, I remember when you guys remember when, yeah, that's their nicknames. It kind of made me think of Archie and Veronica. I just, I don't know where that came from. Don't hold it against me. Um, what was I getting ready to say? I got sidetracked by my cartoon comparison. Oh, this the government owing them stuff. Okay, remember a few months ago or so when all these brothers was so excited? They made like a ton of videos on YouTube. If you don't believe me, you can just go and look. They were so happy that Trump was going to do away with Section 8. Do you remember those conversations, those videos? They went ballistic. They were practically pissing on themselves. They were so excited that black women would be homeless. Now, why would they be happy with that? Because if the black women are homeless, that means their black children are homeless too. But they didn't care about that. So what they were doing was talking about that if women didn't get these government subsidies to help them take care of their children, that they would have to depend on these loser ass men. Otherwise, they would, be homeless. So they, even though these are the same dudes that say, women just are just, uh, wanting me to use men for money and this and that. Okay, so they complain about that, but then they were excited about the possibility that women would be put in a position to have to use them for money, so then they could finally get some booty. So it's like, which one is it? You're confused. You're just all over the place. I don't know. I don't get it. Yes, they do. They want women to bow down to them. They want women to be, a lot of them will reflect on how things were like in the 30s and 40s when women, before women's liberation, and they want things to be like that again. But you got to remind them, okay, in those days, women didn't work, men held it down, and all the men were married. Are you planning to get married? Are you planning to be the sole provider for your family? Or can you handle it? You know? Ha 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 ha. So anyway, um, with somebody like that, they're confused. You don't know which way he's coming from. So let me see. Some of the stuff I had highlighted. Oh, this is what he says. They say this relationship expert says, as follow the incel movement since its inception and had some of its disciples as clients. Wow. Likens incels to the fox in Aesop's fable. The fox couldn't reach the grapes he wanted, so he convinced himself the grapes were sour and that he didn't want them anyway. That's MGTOW. MGTOW in a nutshell. So, that's why they're so confused saying, well, we're going our own way. But every time you talk, there's some conversation, the first thing out of their mouth is, about women. Women are this, women are that, women don't do this, women always want that, blah, blah, blah. Complain, complain, complain about women. Wait a minute, I thought you was going your own way. Why are you even thinking about women? Why are you talking about women? You're going over there, remember? And you're doing that to get away from women. So what are you doing? So that's one thing I really noticed about these groups is they give mixed messages. They're all over the place. I don't think they even really know what it is that they want. Um, yeah. Oh, yes, right. Yeah. They was excited about these dolls. Uh, the sex dolls, a robot, whatever they anyway, these companies paying like three or four, $6,000 for these fake, women, and they were all excited. Yeah, and then we're gonna learn how to clone our kids and we won't need women and we're gonna have robots and this and that, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, if you think that's a good thing and that's what you want to do, honey, just go right ahead. Nobody's gonna miss you. Please believe me, and nobody is going to miss you. Oh my God. Um, oh, look, here's a picture. This is Alec Minassian, the guy who uh ran the van into all the women in Toronto. This is a big picture of him, so it's not that good. My printer, I put my printer on econo mode, but that's him. So, if you could see, let me see if I can get it closer. Look at his eyes. Can you see that? Look at that gleam and glow in his eyes. All the crazy motherfuckers that have that same like demonic glow. I remember Ted Bundy had that, and Manson had that. I mean, if you look at their eyes, they have that weird glow. So when I see guys with the eyes are the window to the soul. So when you see people who have this weird glow in their eyes, turn the other way. Don't make excuses for them. That's why I'm showing you this picture because I want you guys to become aware of it. Yes. Okay, well, see, Eric, let me explain something to you. I give no fucks if he had mental illness. What the fuck that got to do with the women that I'm talking to? Okay, if you crazy, then no woman definitely don't need to date you. So either way, no woman needed to fuck with him. See, you trying to use his mental illness as an excuse, and I'm telling you, I don't gives no fucks what he is. He could be crazy, batshit crazy, psychotic. I don't give a fuck what he is. The main thing I want women to do is recognize when these creeps come up, and you probably could Google it. I don't know. This was in a magazine article, but let me see if I can get it closer. And see that his eyes is just like so weird. Mm-mm. So the excuse of somebody mentally ill. I've always done that series about these guys that have all these mental cluster B syndrome, Asperger syndrome. I mean, I talked about that. Narcissists, sociopaths. I have videos on all of that on this channel, so you can go and listen to them. But the bottom line is, my work here is to educate you ladies. My work is not to make excuses for the men that's all fucked up in the head. I don't care whether they're fucked up. That's irrelevant. I want you to be able to recognize when you see a fucked up man, though, not to get involved with them. That's the whole purpose for these discussions. Okay, because a lot of young women just don't know. They don't know that some of these behaviors indicate that somebody is crazy and that somebody is potential to be extremely violent. The words that they use, the looks in their eyes, the way they look at women, the threats that they make. the sounds they make. I mean, you can tell when you say certain things, the way that they respond, that this is somebody who's not wrapped too tight. So that's why I'm doing all of this. You guys think I'm just doing this for fun or just to talk about men? I do this to help you so that when you go out in the world, you avoid guys like this and you don't become a statistic on the newspaper or in Google talking about you dead. You got beat, you got killed, you got shot, you got stabbed, your throat was cut, you was buried, you can't find your body, all this kind of stuff. I don't want that for you guys. Okay, I want you to see these people coming and then, make that UE and go the opposite direction. Break out like Forrest Gump. I'm telling you, we can't, it just really bothers me that so many women, don't know what to look for. That's good. Thank you. Can't hide. That's what I do. That's why I do it. I hate reading about that kind of stuff. And I hate that it happens to people. I hate when, a mother is killed and her children are left with no mama. I hate it when the men do that mess and they always want to do it in front of the kids too. So then the kids end up damaged. But had these women had the knowledge to recognize the potential violent nature of these guys and their, craziness, they could have at least, in half, maybe even more of the cases, avoided this man interacting with this man at all. And that's what I'm going for. Yeah, you're right. She said mothers try to marry them off knowing their sons have problems. Ooh, honey, yes, they do. I'm like, I had a situation like that. I'm like, I cuss him and his mama out. It's like, oh, hell to the no. Ain't nothing that ain't happening here. Uh, okay. This one says hatred of women is not a mental illness. It is a widespread and dangerous social problem. It's a problem that we need to address before more women die. And that in and itself is a nutshell. So, saying, well, so somebody's mentally ill. Like I said, I mean this sums it up, with less profanity than I use. But it's like it's not mental illness. It's a sense of fucking entitlement. Now, how did they get that way? I don't know. Why do they stay that way when they can see it's not working? I don't know that either. Like I said, you see something's not working, you know what they say? The definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. It's going to always be the same. If you throw a ball up in the air, it's going to come down. That's how it goes. Let's see if there's any more on this kind of stuff. Let me see. Let me see. Twisted. 90% of black boys are crazy and never seek treatment or diagnosis. Yeah, and a lot of them are have been abused, sexually abused too, as quiet as it kept. These all these men in and out of prison. Then they come out and he's some little boy that's looking all cute, and the next thing you know, it's a problem. And I thought, I remember seeing this case in Richmond where this kid got jealous because another kid got a full scholarship. And oh, this was years ago. This kid got a full football scholarship, and this little boy was jealous, and he killed him. This is over the summertime. So you parents who have sons who are successful, this is my warning. I give it out every year. If you have a kid who's getting a big scholarship and going off big places and stuff, hide your son or keep his business to yourself. Don't go around bragging. I know it's going to be hard for you to do, but especially if you live in any kind of neighborhood where there's a hood, you live in some kind of hood, don't do that because people are going to be gunning for your son. And you and your son's never going to make it to college because he's going to end up a statistic over the summer. It happens every fucking year for the last 20-something years. I see it all the time. That's why I'm pointing it out to you. So this kid did the same thing, right? And he killed this little boy, and I happened to see a live news broadcast of, the kid getting arrested. This boy was beautiful. He was pretty, the kind with the little curly hair, and he had his little earrings on, and he was tall. He was a little built up, probably about 17, 18 years old. But I looked at him, I'm like, oh, man, dude, I feel sorry for you because you're going to get in prison. It's over for you. It's over because he was just too pretty. He was that kind of like what they call a pretty boy. He was just all of that, the kind that girls like. But what one was killed recently at a party. See, I'm telling you, and parents, they don't, they're so proud of their kids and they want to tell them, tell everybody, oh, my son's got a 4.4 year right to such and such, and he's going to be playing football and he's going to be doing that. You bragging because you just think that, you want to tell everybody how wonderful your son is. You need to do this. You need to shut up. Don't say nothing. Or if you're going to brag, send your son to another state for the summer so he can start school over there, and then tell them relatives, don't tell them nothing, just send him there. Okay. Then when he starts school and after he done his first year or something, then you can talk about it. But I'm begging you, do not talk about the good fortune that your son is going to have, because your son ain't going to make it. You live around some nignogs. He's not going to make it. They're going to break his legs or fuck him up so he can't run. They're going to do something to ruin his chances at getting out of the circumstances that they're in as well. So I know this is off track, but it's just something I feel like I need to say while I have everybody's attention and before I forget, because I'm old and I forget stuff. Yes, it is, Carla. And like I said, I've been tracking this. I'm not talking off the side of my neck. I've been tracking this for years, decades, and it happens every freaking summer, every summer. So I don't know. So this one is like they're talking about. Look at this graphic where they have Elliot Rogers like he's a saint. They're calling him, because this is the one who murdered all them girls in Santa Barbara. They're calling it Saint Elliot's Day. I'm like, and then he's basically a sorority. I mean, he's a mass murderer, but he says that the sorority girls, just represent every kind of negative female trait. He called them sluts. Although these are the same girls that he wanted to pay attention to him and to date him, suddenly, see, just like I said earlier, instead of accepting that the problem was him, he makes it their fault that there's something wrong with them. And that's what males tend to do to protect their egos. You know, I don't know what the solution to this is. Um, Yeah, they say a lot of these kids that are half white and half Asian, the amount of mental illness in them is like triple regular people. So I'm like, there's some bad combination there that's going on. Blacks and Asians don't have that problem. Asian and Asians don't have that problem. But whites with Asians, you get some weird mixture of stuff. I was reading some statistics about it. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I would have never guessed. Um, but to sum this up, I don't know that we amongst ourselves have the power to change any of this. This is going to be a job for parents, for teachers, for like Boy Scout leaders, community leaders, coaches, people who have a lot of interactions with young males. Get in their heads before they get this idea that they deserve to have a woman, that a woman owes them something just because they are existing and they have a penis. Okay. You need to break them of that habit, break them of that mindset. And don't you dare tell them anything about, well, you're so this and that, you deserve blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't deserve anything. You teach him this is what you do to earn a woman's love and affection, because that has value and that is important. And you got the right woman behind you, your ass can soar. But if you come at a woman with some crazy attitude and some crazy words that are insulting and demeaning to her, you're never going to have a woman. Ever, never, never, never in the next 500 decades are you going to have a woman. It's just not going to happen, because women are going to know that something's wrong with you. Okay, Eric, now you got to go. So you start saying crazy stuff. Remove. Just like, whatever that is, it's still not as bad as men coming into women's locker rooms and and dressing rooms and bathrooms. Okay. We're gonna talk about that one day too, because I have some really unnice things to say about that whole program. But yes, the if you rub it in his face, psh, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. He says that's the only reason a black man would be jealous, because you rub it in his face. Let me explain something to you. The world is not going to bend around what you like, what you want. The world is what it is. And people, you all like you're a special snowflake or some shit and all up in your feelings. See, that's a bitch man. you guys just are like little bitches walking around. I can't stand it. It's like you just may as well just put on a dress and pantyhose and shit because you always talking about your feelings and how, what people need to be sensitive to you and people need to walk on eggshells around you. No, be a fucking man. Take the shit and man the fuck up. Okay, some woman says something to you, she don't want to be bothered with you. That's not something for you to get in your feelings for. That's for you to G up and be like, okay, babe, that's cool. Nice meeting you. And roll out like a G. Okay? But instead you go, oh, you bitch, you don't want, and you start throwing fits and wanting to throw stuff at the woman and call her names and follow her down the street, insulting her and stuff. I swear, I'm glad I don't have a son because I would beat his ass if he acted like that. They not borderlines, they all the way. Okay, this is the line where it's bitch, they over down there yonder. Okay, that's how far down they have gone over to the bitch world. And I can't stand it. Who wants a man like that? Who wants to procreate with a man like that? Who wants somebody like that touching you? So, this whole thing is just really crazy, and I'm just glad that it was exposed for what it is. I hope that this whole thing ends. Um, it ends so that women understand what's going on. You guys stop feeding into it. Don't participate in their discussions. Don't argue with them. Don't try to get them to quote see your way. Nothing. Just avoid them. Avoid them at all costs. These guys are toxic, and there's nothing you can do. No amount of your love, your commitment, your understanding, your support, or anything like that is going to help them become better men. That's a job for them to do. That's something they have to do themselves. And a lot of it is going to require that they stop hanging out in these groups and big up in each other with this nonsense. They need to go and learn how to be men, deal with their emotions in a constructive manner, stop blaming other people for what they do and say, and just, handle themselves like real men. It's very unfortunate that so many of our males these days do not know how to be men. You have their fathers to blame for abandoning them, or maybe their daddies are bitch men too. Who knows? But that's what I wanted to say about that. This weakness of spirit, this fragility of mind, the focus on emotions. I mean, it's like a whole new breed of men. I don't know what to tell you. And I think a lot of them are so uh they failed at manhood. They failed at manhood, so they decide that they're going to be women. That I think is what all that trans stuff is about. They say I felt like, well, no, your ass didn't. Your ass was you start thinking that you was going to be entitled to a bunch of stuff, and then when it didn't happen, you got upset and you decided it was too hard, and so now you're going to go over here and be a woman because that's easier because women have it easy. That's all what that's all about. I got that shit figured out years ago. But nobody wants to listen. Nobody believes me. But I'm always ahead of the curve on everything, and that's my assessment because they just be too much into, trying to be like women and complaining about what women do, what women have, what women wear, what women be, what rights women have that they don't. I mean, just all the stuff. So they want to, become a woman because they perceive that we have so much more than they do. So of course they want to get that. So here they go with their dress and their high heels and they put it on their lacy bras and panties, and then they decide, to sashay around and switch around and that they're now a woman. Yes, very weak. And it just seems to be, the weaker men get, the stronger women get because, there must be a balance. There has to be a balance. So as long as one keeps going down, the other is going to keep rising up because they have to keep the balance. This distance between them has remained even. See? Like that. So that's my thoughts on this whole matter. I will be back next Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I think I picked the topic. Did I? I don't remember. Um, yes, yes, I did. And that's one of the things I was going to talk about, Nan. When I did my talk on the trans movement, I haven't quite gotten my thoughts together. I'm talking about men who want to think that they're women. I don't call them transgendered women. Those are dudes, okay? Dudes pretending to be women. I don't else call them she. I don't call them her. I call them men. And because that's what they are. And there'll never be anything different. Okay. So stop with this stuff. I'm just like, it's just playing into this insanity, this feeling of entitlement again. Now because they decided they feel like they're entitled to become women just because they say so. And y'all go along with this nonsense. See, I got something for you too. This is crazy. But anyway, I guess my hour is up. That's all I booked it for, was an hour. Yeah, Tamika, you're right. That's what we're gonna talk about. And my probably take me 15 minutes because my thoughts on this are very clear. And there's no deviation. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. I want to thank the people who did the chat thing. What is that thing called? Where the big chat, the whatever it's called, top chat thing. Um, that was interesting. I've never yes, it's gonna be uploaded, and I will upload this, and I'm gonna edit it so that I can put the images that I was holding on to. I want to put super chat. Yes, thank you. Um, I want to add those images to the video. So before I upload this and make it live for you to see, I'm going to do a little editing and make sure that you can see those images that I wanted to show you. But I don't know how to do it. I don't even know. Maybe it's not even possible with YouTube Live, the live streams. But that's what I have to say. Thank you all for sitting and listening to me rant. And I hope that this is educational information for you and that helps you go out and make smarter decisions in your dating choices. Okay. We got to stop. We're going to be back on boundaries in 2 weeks. And you guys have got to do better. And this is one of the areas that I think, learning to recognize when this problem, when it's coming at you, will save a lot of you from having to write me for advice and telling me what drama somebody's putting you through. Your little heart be all broken and your spirit's all busted and damaged and everything, self-esteem taking a hit. You don't need to do all that. We want you to be happy, healthy, and whole. All right. That's why I do this. Right. And remember, if you got some problem, you're trying to find a new way, a new path or something, go on the blog, survivingdating.com, and right at the top, you'll see the thing where it says get advice. Actually, that's even on the top of the YouTube channel too. Get advice. It takes you to the same form. Fill that out, put your issue in there, let me know what's going on. And, I'll answer it either by email or in one of the live, one of the videos where I answer the advice questions. Probably that. I'm trying to stick to that lately. All right, you guys, I love you right back. That's why, this is nothing but a labor of love, so I swear. Because, y'all was wearing me out with those daily videos. Y'all was wearing me out, O-U-T. All right. Thing to be here on Wednesday night, and I'll be here too. Bye-bye.